I've got my dream car today, a brand new 2017 Dodge Challenger Hellcat. I wanted one in bright orange, but hey, you can't be too picky. There aren't too many around. Take what you can get. This Hellcat emblem lets all your neighbors know you're definitely a Dodge fan if you spend 70 grand for a Challenger. Some nice looking brakes there. I think we'll need them. The only thing you have to concentrate on is what transmission you want, the 6-speed manual or this 8-speed automatic. The 8-speed automatic is easier to live with, quicker, and uses less fuel. By comparison, the 6-speed manual uses more fuel, is slower, and frankly awkward to use because an engine with this much torque does not need a manual transmission to move along. The 8-speed automatic is really the best way to go, unless you're just buying this as a thrash toy. And if you like to shift for yourself, you get paddle shifters on the steering wheel, where they belong, not on the steering column where they don't belong. Just stay fingertip away regardless of the steering wheel position. Makes this setup very handy when you're going on tight winding roads. Far easier to shift. If you're driving at tight roads like this, you definitely want to get the Hellcat with the paddle shifters instead of the manual and clutch. Make shifting in corners way easier. Doing this in a manual gearbox and a clutch just isn't going to work. We get 2 headlights on the right. And it looks like 2 headlights on the left, but it's not. This is an air intake. This baby sucks up lots of oxygen. You do have to be careful when driving over speed bumps or pulling up on a curb. This spoiler will get damaged in a heartbeat. So be careful. That's what we want to hear. For those interested, this is what this particular Hellcat costs. If you're going to buy a Hellcat, here's something you need to know. Hellcats come standard with a 3.7 rear axle ratio, which is good. That's what you want. Gives a good 0 to 60 time. But a lot of Hellcats are coming with the optional 2.62 taller gear for a higher top speed that you really can't use, and you're giving up a 0 to 60 time, which you really want. Of course, the choice is yours, but I would avoid the 2.62 axle altogether. It just slows the car down, and you're buying the car to accelerate, right? And who's going to go 180 miles per hour in a Hellcat anyway? This is the axle you want. You can drive this car in town like any other vehicle, but it's kind of a waste. So we need to find some open road here. Rodeo Drive isn't too far from here. Maybe I'll go down and run over some movie stars on the street. What I like about this Hellcat, it's a lot more than a Challenger with a hot engine. They redid the whole car, suspension, brakes, steering, everything. They did a great job too. I tell potential buyers that once you've driven an SRT 485 horse Challenger, they'll never want to go back to the RT 385 horse Challenger. Likewise, once you've driven the 707 horsepower Hellcat, you won't want to go back to either one of those two either. This is the best 65 to 70 grand you'll ever spend. Great for your midlife crisis. A sure cure. What do you mean the road's closed? I'm just starting to have fun. Now I have to drive all the way back down. I've been running these brakes pretty hard for the past 20 miles on these tight corners. They're hot, but no fade at all. I'm very impressed. This Hellcat corners is about as good as any BMW I've driven lately, including the M series. That's a pretty good testimonial, I would say. I usually don't do burnouts in my cars. I think it's pointless, but judging from the pavement around here, it looks like everybody and his brother's been doing burnouts, so... Hey, quit speeding! That's against the law! I'm going to report him. So I think it's time we do a burnout. Just one for prosperity. Okay, we left our mark for prosperity. I did it just for you YouTubers. Be my first one and last one. What's it say? $1,000 fine for littering. Wonder if that includes all the chunks of rubber I've been leaving on the road from my tires. I love all the goofy signs up here. Now we got one that says chains required, no exceptions. Yeah, I'll get right on that. Let's take a few minutes out to look at the computer. No wonder this thing hasn't been running fast. Somebody put in the eco mode. I didn't do that. Transmission eco mode. Paddle shifter's off. Oh, we gotta change this. Now that's a lot better. I just found out to my surprise that every time you turn the car off and restart it, everything goes back to the eco mode instead of the sport mode. So you have to reset it every time you restart the car. I don't think that's normal. I don't remember that happening on the SRTs I've driven. I'll have to check on that. If you drive a Hellcat, you might want to pull this up. You might be cheating yourself out of some horsepower. In the meantime, we're going back to sport to get that 700 ponies. Now that we've got this in sport mode where it belongs, now we're talking. Here's my take on the Challenger Hellcat. Before you die, you should at least buy one, if not, drive one. Unless you have no interest in cars at all. But if that was the case, you wouldn't be watching this video, would you? And since it's a tradition to show my viewers the true fuel economy of any car I drive, I'm going to show you right here our 72-mile trip up and down these canyons. 9.8 mpg. Yeah, but so what? Now that Trump has made friends with the Arabs, they'll just pump up more oil and we'll get more gas. So who cares about fuel economy, right? And our break-in mileage of 1,378 miles, we've averaged 12.2 in all the driving. If you own a Hellcat, you'll be doing a lot of this. Wish I wouldn't mind, except in this town it's $3.27 a gallon. You gotta be kidding me. I'm gonna get out of this town quick.